let's go ahead and get started. So this is going to be really concise, but I want to spend some time talking about stacking plan N. But first, let's talk about why stack at all. Well, we are huge believers in stacking Medicare health plans because cross-selling doesn't work. And what do I mean by that? That means what some agents try to do is make a med-sup sale and then try to go back later to cross-sell other products. And we just don't believe in that. It takes too much time. It creates confusion. And the biggest reason is the psychological one. And the psychological one is that it makes the client question the advice that you provided and psychologically seems like you're trying to oversell them stuff. That's the problem with cross-selling. It makes the customer feel like you're just trying to sell a bunch of stuff, like a used car seller. But stacking is simply providing your client with a complete solution. It's faster and easier. The client understands how everything fits together as part of a plan, and psychologically, it seems like they're just pieces to a puzzle. And of course, you're going to make more money. So one of the questions, hey, Bob, that agents ask is, where do we get the money for it? Where do I get the money to stack all these health plans together? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is where Plan N fits in. Okay, so let's talk about a med-sup stack. And again, I want to use Aetna as my example, but feel free to pick your favorite carrier, but we're just going to focus on Aetna here today. So I picked Aetna because they have the best Plan N rates in the country. And does anybody know what is the price difference between a G and an N? Anybody know? Any guesses? Of course, it varies by
$30-$40.
Yeah, that's a good answer, Belinda. 30 to 40 bucks. So if you take, let's just say, I'll just use 40. It does vary, and of course, it's the case if it's a husband and wife. But anyway, let's just say use 40. That's $480 a year, right? So why is that $480 so important? Well, we'll talk about Plan N here in a second, so don't worry about that. We'll get to it. But we don't leave $480 on the table. Instead, we use that $480 to make sure that they have a fully stacked plan with a Part D, of course, extended care, cancer, and DDH. Putting all of these products together gives your client with a complete solution. As a reminder, next week on Thursday, Aetna is doing a product training. So we're not going to do a product training here. This is just talking about a sales concept. But if you're wondering, when do we get Aetna product training? The answer is next week on Thursday. The carrier will be doing a training. Okay, so now we're taking a Plan N, still adding the Part D, but we're using those dollars that we just freed up for short-term care, cancer, and a dental. So now we've just provided our client with a better overall solution, and we're still keeping it in their budget. Okay? All right. But this is what I wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about. What is the difference between N and G? Now, of course, you can spend a lot of time trying to figure it out, but I just thought it really comes down to these four things. So let's start off talking about the benefits. Yes, there are benefit differences. So a Plan G will cover all of the gaps in Medicare except the Part B deductible. How much is the Part B deductible in 2024? Who knows? What's that, Bob? 200 bucks?
Is it $345?
No. Anybody know what the Part B deductible is in 2024? That's okay. I don't know if everybody can unmute their lines. Yeah, it's around 200 bucks. So you have that Part B deductible in either circumstance, is my point. But there's a couple of other things that make them different benefit-wise. One is that there is a copay, $20 copay for doctor visits, which for anybody who has Plan N knows, it is oftentimes waived. Most of the consumers that talk to us about Plan N say that they've never actually been charged the copay at the doctor. The second thing that's the difference is that Plan G covers the excess charges and Plan N does not. Now, you might say, uh-oh, that's a hole. But as you guys know, I just verified this with Aetna literally on Monday when I had lunch with their chief marketing officer. 97% of their claims do not involve excess charges. 97%. Doctors don't charge the excess charges. It doesn't mean zero, but it's super easy, right? If you have a Plan N, you coach your client that when they go to the doctor, they have to say, hey, look, do you accept Medicare's payment in full? 97% of the time, the doc's going to say, yep. So even excess charges aren't that big a deal. Okay, but there are differences. There's a reason why Plan N and G are different. From a benefit perspective, the big two things is that Plan N has some copays in it, and it does not cover excess charges. All right. So what are some other differences? Well, I think it was Belinda that just said it a minute ago. Price. You're going to save $20, $30, $40, even $50 a month, depending upon age and status. Plan N is going to be cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. Here's the interesting thing that you may not know. The commissions are higher. Yes, I did not make that up. Every carrier, and Aetna in particular, pays a higher commission, sometimes 3 and 4% higher on a Plan N versus a Plan G. Yeah, a higher commission. And then the last one on here is potentially Plan G is going to have higher rate increases than Plan N. Any theories? Anybody want to chime in? Why do you think Plan N is going to have lower rate increases over time compared to G? Any thoughts?
Because people on Plan G are sicker and they're using the benefits more, and it costs them more money.
Absolutely correct. So in a lot of states, Plan G is required to be guaranteed issue. Certainly for those people T65, and you're exactly right. Sick people don't pick Plan N, right? They will immediately go to Plan G. So we know that Plan G is going to get way more utilized. It has way more members in it, and it's more likely that they're sick or have issues. So you're going to basically get a Plan N with a substantially lower rate that over time will actually get wider. So the difference might be $40 a month at the beginning, but over time it could stretch to $100 depending upon how long you keep it. Because Plan G will keep getting bigger rate increases and Plan N will get lower ones due to the lower utilization and the healthier book. Now, we have no way of really quantifying that. Nobody really knows exactly what that looks like. But Chris, to your point, it just makes sense. You got a bunch of guaranteed issue stuff, you're just going to get rate increases. That's just the way it is because you got to accept the sick people along with the healthy ones. Plan N sick people don't buy. They simply don't. Okay, so let's go back to the stacking here for just a second. So once again, I wanted to explain why are we stacking a Plan N. We're stacking it because it has a lower rate. It frees up money to be able to provide these other benefits and provide a more comprehensive solution than loading up on a Plan G that's only going to get a higher rate increase in the future. Now, don't misunderstand. Like Plan G, we all sell a ton of them, right? Can we all agree Plan G's are go-to? But try out this Plan N. I think the mistake that agents make is they assume everybody just wants a G. I even present N to people who bring to me, yeah, I want to get a plan G like my neighbor. And I said, okay, but here's some options. My job is to tell you what to do. My job is to share with you different ways that you can go about putting this plan together. And if you're trying to find money to do all this stuff, bring in Plan N. Mrs. Jones, we could knock your MedSup premiums down 30, 40, 50 or more dollars a month. Another reason why I like Aetna, and then I'll give the Aetna sales pitch a rest, is because you can do all of these things in a consolidated quoting and enrollment platform. Have you guys used Aetna Senior Sup quoting and enrollment? I love it. It's really simple to use. You log in. It has all of the products that are available for your client and your in that person's zip code and age status. You can pick all of the different plans. You can pick all of the different benefits that you want and put them all into the shopping cart, just like you could at Amazon, check out, and now you've just put them all together. And again, we're not going to do a product training here this afternoon. That's going to be next week on Thursday. But that's why I like stacking these plans together. By the way, there's another benefit I forgot to mention. Let's say we take that $50 a month, or 40, I'm sorry, I keep using $40 a month that we're saving between a G and an N, and instead of using it on a MedSup, we use that same premium on, let's just say, DDH or extended care, okay? What is the difference in commission to an agent if that same exact $40 was used on a plan, on a MedSup versus an ancillary? So if you think about it this way, and we'll get to this in just a second. So on a MedSup, you might make 20%, 21. But on a dental, you might make 30 or 40. On an extended care, you might make 60. So taking that same exact $40 and deploying it into a higher commission product versus the low commission product that is MedSup, you're going to make more money. How much more money? Here's an example of an agent, two agents. One that's just putting together a plan G and a drug plan, and they're doing one a week. This is what most agents do. And this is the mistake they're making in terms of their income. So they're doing a G and a D. They're doing one a week, 4 a month. Average commission on a case is $500 annualized. That means they're making about $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year in annualized commission. But if that same scenario, this different agent's also selling 4 a month or 1 a week, but instead they're doing what I'm suggesting, a plan N stack, they're going to make $1,600 on a case, $6,400 a month. That's $76,800. And let me ask you this, which agent did the better job for the client? The agent who just wrote him a G and a D, or the one that also included protection against long-term care, their dental, their vision, their hearing, and cancer? You tell me which agent did a better job. I would argue you did a better job by doing the plan N stack. You protected your client against out-of-pocket costs, and you made triple the income just by doing this one a week. That's simple. If you're not doing it, guys, you're just leaving all this income on the table. And you're doing your client a disservice. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You're not protecting them against what their exposures are. When you're Medicare aged, with all due respect, and I think this is where agents sometimes get tripped up. Well, Plan N has a $20 copay. Okay, so let me get this straight. You're trying to protect your customer against a $20 copay, but you're leaving them exposed for things like long-term care? That doesn't make any sense. Who cares about $20? But leaving them exposed to $50,000 worth of recovery care or home health care, That's the exposure, not $20. You got to look at the big picture, guys. Don't let anybody tell you the $20 is a big deal. That means they're not looking at the big picture and realizing they can be exposed to substantial costs for long-term care, for dental, for cancer, and we're protecting our clients by stacking these plans together. Make sense? Okay, what do you guys think?
Andy, what was the G and D that you had in the example? I know that's Plan G, but what is D?
Part D, drug plan.
Oh, Part D. Okay, got it.
Right. Yeah, I know. Sorry, just a little shorthand there. So MedSup Plan G and Medicare Prescription Drug Plan Part D. I know.
Got it.
Silly lettering. And all I was trying to make the point is that's the majority of what agents do. They put a G and a D together. They put a Plan G and a Part D together, and they think they've done their job. If they haven't. I'm sorry, Bob. I didn't mean to interrupt you, sir.
I don't think Bob realized he's
still muted.
Yeah.
Still muted.
All right, I'm unmuted now. So the $20, Andy, where does that number come from?
Oh, that's a good question. Hold on. So let's just do a real quick. I will pull up the product grid. Oopsie. So if you guys are not familiar with MedSup Plan N, like I said, Aetna's going to have their product training, including MedSup next week, but let me just really quickly show you how they differ.
While you're putting that up, Andy, thanks for sharing that with us, because I never sell in, because the clients who mostly do med subs, they don't want to do any kind of copay. So that was my reason for always going to G. But with what you just shared today, it makes sense to slide to N and save them some money.
Yeah, I think it's easy to focus on the copay when all you're looking at is the difference between G and N. And if the only thing you're looking at is the copay issue, it's easy to get fixated on that. So I don't want to go. But if you're sharing with them the bigger picture, that's where you can really help them understand why that's such a big deal. Hold on, I know I got it.
And the access charges, because when they ask the question, well, what is that and how much can it be? And we can't tell them, that has been a deterrent as well. But it's good to hear you say that, especially with Aetna, 97% of the time, they never charge that anyway.
It's absolutely the case. And if you look at the statistics, even nationwide beyond Aetna, the same thing you'll find. The vast majority of doctors take assignment. By the way, did you know that there is a directory online of doctors that don't charge excess charges? You don't even have to ask if you don't want to. There's a government website that actually lists every doctor who takes what's called assignment, which is charging only the Medicare schedule, no excess. Anyhow, so Bob, I want to get back to your question because I didn't answer it very well. So on the right-hand side is Plan N. I know this is Mutual of Omaha, but I just had it handy. So you can see G covers everything except the Part B coinsurance. Part B deductible. Sorry, Part B deductible. I don't know why it says it like that. Anyway, but it does have up to a $20 copay for office visits and $50 for the ER.
Right. So when you look at the different Medigap plans that a person can have, always with the N, it's showing what the copay is?
Yes. Yeah. N always has that copay. But what I'm telling you is that regularly the doctor won't charge it, because if they just take whatever Medicare pays, they're just going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
And It doesn't mean that they could never end up with the $20, Belinda. I'm not trying to suggest that can never happen. But what I am trying to say is if we help that client understand the bigger picture here, and the bigger picture, going back to this slide, is we're able to help them cover so many more important things than $20. Mrs. Jones, $20 barely buys you a couple of cups of coffee. But if we expose you to things like extended care, that could cost you $50,000. So what's more important, $20 or $50,000?
Plus, Andy, the copay, they might use maybe not every month.
That's exactly right.
The premium they're getting every month.
Yep. And your healthy people won't bat an eye. Now, your sick people, they're going to say, well, gosh, I'm going to get kind of like what Belinda was saying. Your sick people are going to say, I'm going to get copaid to death. So going back to what Chris was saying, this is probably not the solution for sick people.
Right.
And that's okay. I'm not trying to suggest that this is going to work every time. I just wanted to convince people like Belinda to at least offer a plan N stack. Let them decide, provide them more and better benefits by saving money on the med sup and instead putting it into this other stuff.
Andy, with these stacked graphics for the med sup and also for under 65, where can we get that?
I'd be happy to send it to you. Now, this is for agent use only, but I'm happy to send it to you for the purposes of reference.
Can we use it in a presentation?
No, it's not consumer approved.
Okay.
Now, certainly you could take something and put something together, but no, this is not for consumer purpose. It does say for agent use only. But I think, Bob, you bring up a really important point, and that is we're doing our customers a disservice if we're not showing them the whole thing. Now, that doesn't mean that every time we present this, they're going to buy everything. But you know what? At least you can sleep at night knowing that you presented it all and let them choose. What I typically do is if the client says, hey, I want all this stuff, which typically they say, but they say the price tag is still too high. Well, what I do is I said, okay, well, we can reduce the benefit to get this thing into your budget. What I don't like doing is taking something out. Okay, so say I take a cancer plan out of there. Okay, great. Now they get cancer. Now I'm like, crap. I screwed myself by taking the cancer plan out altogether. And now they're calling me up telling me, hey, whatever happened? Did we get a cancer plan? And I go, no, we took it out. I would rather reduce the benefit than take it out. But again, customer's the boss. If they say, nope, I don't want it, well, then they don't want it.
Andy, you mentioned about the Aetna's pricing is better than others. Do you
Yes.
have a feel for underwriting? Is Aetna better than others, or you don't know?
So so let me answer it that way. I don't know how to say if it's better or worse than anybody else. I do know that over the last several years, up until this past year, Aetna was the second largest med sup writer in the industry behind United Healthcare. So they're writing tons and tons and tons of business, and I'm not aware of having any kind of decline issues or problems. They're certainly not your substandard carrier, but I'm not aware that their underwriting is any more difficult or easier than anybody else's.
Okay.
And then things like extended care, cancer, and DVH is guaranteed issue. Extended care and cancer, those are pretty straightforward. If you've had cancer in the last 5 years, you get knocked out of the cancer plan. And extended care, just basically, as long as you're not currently in need of care, you can pretty much get those things.
The extended care, is that the name of the product, or you're just using it as a category for short-term care?
Yeah, it's a category. And
Okay.
we're, as an organization, Belinda, we're making the transition from the term short-term care to extended care. And I found out just this week that Aetna is doing the same thing, that they're now starting to call it that too.
Okay.
And I think the reason is we want to distinguish it from long-term care. But the problem is short-term care has a negative connotation to it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
They should get away from their short-term under 65. Stop calling it that.
Yeah, no, agreed. It's a terrible name. Yeah, terrible name. So don't be surprised, Belinda and Bob, if you see us talking about extended care over and over and over again. And again, those products will be the Aetna product training is next week on Thursday.
Yeah, and Andy, not to get distracted, but any more talk about short-term care not being a 3-year duration? They shrinking it?
Short-term medical, you mean?
Yeah, short-term health plans.
Yeah, okay, so just so we're all clear, guys, Bob changed the subject. We're talking about under 65 now. We're talking about short-term medical. And the answer is no. Certainly you would have expected that by now we would have heard something, and no, it is still no word about it. So at this point, I'm suspecting that we're business as usual, and we would probably need to wait until this summer to see if there's going to be any kind of movement. They can't do it in the fall. That's too late. I'm thinking, by the way, guys, we have our short-term medical carriers. Actually, all of our carriers are going to be at the agent conference. If you guys have not yet signed up, let me just real quickly put the link in the chat. Need you guys to be there because so many things are going on from a regulatory perspective that are going to be known by this summer. You're going to want to know. Let me put it in the chat.
And I'm an ambassador, so if anyone needs some help, please reach out to me, Belinda Reed.
That's a great point, Belinda. In fact, I just put the agent conference link in there. When you sign up, if you could please check on the drop-down box, put Belinda Reed. Her name's listed there. Chris, I don't think you've been before. I highly recommend that you make it. I realize, guys, it's an investment in your business. I can't encourage you enough. I guarantee you will walk away believing that you got a return on your investment of time and money, and we're going to have a ball.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Our half hour is up. Any other questions, comments, thoughts? What do you guys think about the plan and stack? Anybody want to try it?
Yeah, no, I tell you, you've definitely opened up our eyes.
Yes, for sure.
Like Belinda said, it's always easier to defer to a G. It's everyone says, "Oh, I want a G," but again, the idea of stacking. If we're interested in helping clients and making more money, it's a win-win.
Amen to that. I think I want to end on that note, Bob. That was awesome and perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, guys. See you.